SIMREX drone X300C and how to get it flying, because I struggled a little bit, but the box is nice and small. This is a compact drone, first one I've ever had. I had my grandkids get it for me for Christmas. You can scan this and apparently get a free 1-year warranty. Then in the box, this is your charger cable that can go into the computer, or what I did is I used a phone charger and plugged it into the wall. Some extra propellers, the drone itself.
Let me open these up.
Where the battery goes, there was a little rubber tab that was sticking up here. I think it was just to prevent it from going all the way in shipment, but you just remove that little tab. Then you kind of push down and there's a little clip. That's a clip right there. You kind of push that down with your thumb and the battery slips out. Only goes in one way. Highly recommend that you use the guards for the propellers, especially in the beginning. Otherwise you'll break them off, and they just simply slide on. They don't click in place. Once you have those in place, you're all set. There is a little antenna wire. I don't know if you can see, there it is. I just kind of straightened that out a little bit. Then the controller is underneath all of this. And this is what got tricky for me. Before I go any further, you do have to charge both units. They're both rechargeable with the same cord. It'll take, I don't know, an hour or so to charge. There's the charging port for the controller. You can also hook up your phone to this. However, this kind of clips up and then this slides. However, for my iPhone, I don't trust it to stay in place because it doesn't really click real well. Now I do have a cover on mine. So what I'm going to do is maybe put rubber bands around here at an angle so that I know that it'll stay in place. And I'll do a subsequent video once I get to that point. But right now let's just fly the drone, because you can take video and still pictures with it. So I'm just going to do a flying lesson. So the first step is you turn on the drone. There's a little button right here. Push and hold it until the lights, LED lights, come on. You can see they're flashing now. Then you turn on your controller, and there's a little switch right back here, same side as the charging port. Get a little beep. The first time you push this down arrow, and somehow that gets everything coordinated. Things you'll need are these little pads, and they slide like I'm sliding my thumb up, down, left, right. Same thing on this side. These other arrows on the outside control other functions, but for basic flight you just use the inside ones. This one will give elevation, or it'll bring it down, and then left, right pivots the craft this way. On this side, this will give you, up is forward, so it's going to tilt it forward and fly, back, and then tilt and fly left, right, but it's going to bank, turn. To initially get the propellers going, you push this up arrow, and it's going to stay stationary on the ground. So let me move it to the floor. Actually, you have an emergency stop here, but you're only supposed to use it for emergencies because it'll drop like a rock. But I'll push that now, shuts it off. So again, to start, I'm pushing that up arrow. Then I'm going to slide this thumb up. and that's what will give it some height. And now it's going to freeze right there. That's just about a foot off the ground. Okay, now if it drifts, which it probably will the first time, to change, to make it stable, it's the arrows, not the pad. So if you want it to go more to the left, you'll tap that arrow, and each time you tap it, you'll see it'll start drifting over now. Well, I don't want it to do that. I want to get it level, so I'm going to do the right arrow. Left. And now I'm going to do the forward arrow. And you can see it's pretty stable right like that. Okay, now I'm going to fly. So if I want to go higher, again, push this upwards. So I'm pushing up. And once you let it go, then it'll hover at that height. So on the right hand side, I'm going to... So what I did is I slid my thumb to the right. And bring it backwards. Again, that's sliding my thumb down. On this side, this is what pivots it. That's right, left. Bring it back to me a little bit. So again, I'm going to slide my thumb to the right and it turns. So now forward is towards me. Back is still back. I don't know if that makes sense, but I'm pivoting the ship. Pivoting the drone, I should say. So if I want more elevation, again, I just push this thumb up. And wherever you stop pushing is the elevation you'll get. Now you can do tricks and things, but that I'm not covering in this video. This is just to initially get it flying. The reason you want those bumpers on there, let me see if I can take it over to this box and bump it. So if I was flying and I bump that, see, no problem. Didn't tear anything up. So I think it says you can get about 10 minutes of flying time. I've been mostly trying to keep it so that the front is like I'm looking out at it. I will make one with the camera, but I just wanted to give some instruction because I struggled a little bit with these buttons and getting it set up. It will fly outside. I took it outside just a little bit, but I want to get more practice before I really go on an adventure like that. It does have a return function, so outdoors, because it's so small, say you got 50, 60 feet away, I could see losing it in your sight path, and you can push a button and it'll return to where it launched from. I have not tried that yet though. So landing, push the down button. And if you hold the down button down once you're on the ground, it stops. And again, that's the left hand side sliding this down. To restart, you push the up button, which is not part of that pad. That starts the propellers. And then you'll just slide this up for elevation. Again, right is just right on. Let me get back here. Right is on this side, you just slide it that way, or left, you'll slide your thumb that way. Forward is up, back is just pull your thumb towards you. Again, to pivot, it's this button, pivoting, left, pivoting right, elevation, and landing is down. Hope that helps. I'm enjoying it, and I'll do a follow-up lesson with with some of the other functions. Again, it does have the camera. You have a view from the drone itself, out and down. Turn the drone on the screen. And it has to be on a flat surface. Then you turn the controller on, and they will pair automatically. So here's a little switch to turn on. The double beep and the lights stop flashing. Then what you need to do is to calibrate it. It's on the left side, and see it looks like a little atomic figure. You push that down and hold it for several seconds. That's what makes it operate properly. As in the first video, you push this one time to start it. Now there's another thing I will mention on this button over here, the same one that did the calibration to get it correct. There's a little speedometer symbol right down here, and if you just tap it, it changes your speed of your individual prop motors. And there's a total of 3 speeds. So there's 2 and there's 1. If you keep going, it'll just go through them all. So I think I want 1. I think that's the slowest because I'm indoors right now. The other thing that I've learned, so then to go to the first level of height, remember you just push this button up. What I've also learned is this button here, if you push this, just tap it. Whoa, let me get it settled here. So now I'm flying by tilting. Oops. Let me back this out. So if I can get everything in the screen, now I'm flying by tilting the controller. Forward makes it go forward, toward, back, back. Whoa, it's left, right. So I hope that makes a little bit of sense. So you tilt it back, it comes towards me. Forward, left, right. So that was an interesting feature that I kind of like. And the other thing, to return it to the normal operation, you just tap that again. Okay, so to land, you can just tap this stop button one time and it'll slowly go down to the floor and stop. For an emergency stop, you hold this button down and it'll shut everything off no matter how high you are in the air. Whereas just one tap, no matter how high you are in the air, it'll slowly come down and land safely.
I've decided I will do a third segment that will cover one button push, so it will return to you, because you could be outdoors and lose sight of the drone and have difficulty finding it. You can push one button, it'll come back right to where you're at, and then I'll get into the camera mode where you use your smartphone device to control the drone.
I have a viewer's request to explain and demonstrate what's called the headless mode, and that is this button. There's a star and then a circle with an A in it. This controls both headless and the automatic return. Automatic return, you would hold that button down until the drone returns to you and release it for it to be stationary. To go into the headless mode, you just tap it one time. What that does, okay, here's the front of the drone and the camera. So normally you would fly with you positioned behind the drone. Normal operation, the camera would be pointing straight ahead. You would be flying. You go forward, you slide this pad forward, you'd go forward. Slide to the left, you'd go left. Down would be back. When you turn on the headless mode, say you were flying and you pivoted the drone to look to your left, and imagine there was some wildlife, maybe a deer or something was walking along. The headless mode allows you to do that from the side. whereas in the traditional mode you would only be able to follow it from behind. So to clarify, you've pivoted to the left. Now you tap the headless mode one time, the drone will maintain that position. So now when you push the up button to go forward, it's forward from the controller. On the drone itself, it's really banking to the right. So that's the headless mode. It is based off of the controller so that when you push forward, it goes that direction. When you slide the controller to the left, the drone goes to the left, but the camera stays in the same position. Hopefully that's clear. So let me put it on the floor and show you it in actual use. Okay, I'm starting out in just normal mode. I'm going to start the propellers. I'm going to elevate just a little. Okay, so backwards, thumb pulled back, forward, thumb pulled forward. Left, slide to the left, right, slide to the right. Now I'm going to go to headless mode, but I'm going to pivot. Okay, so I pivoted. I'm going to pivot a little more. Now I'm going to go to headless. Headless is on, and I'm going to push forward and see it goes forward while the drone remains sideways. So I'm pushing forward, and it goes forward away from the drone, and the camera is actually pointed to the left. So if I pull back towards me, it comes towards me. So hopefully that's clear. I'm pushing forward and it goes forward away from me. When actually at the drone itself, it would be making a right-hand turn. So that's the headless mode. To stop it, you just tap it again. Again, if I hold down that button, it'll return to me. And here it comes. If you want to use either the photo camera or the video camera that's mounted on the front of the drone, you have to access it through an Android or an iPhone. There's a scanner on here if you know how to do that with your phone on your in your instruction book, or if you go to your app store. So all you do is in your search box type in SIMREX, and I did the top one, and I already have it downloaded, but this will pop up. So it is SIMREX. If you want to use either the photo camera or the video camera that's mounted on the front of the drone, you have to access it through an Android or an iPhone. There's a scanner on here if you know how to do that with your phone on your in your instruction book, or if you go to your app store. So all you do is in your search box type in SIMREX, and I did the top one, and I already have it downloaded, but this will pop up. So it is SIMREX FPV. I have yet to master all of the smart device connections, but I do know that what you'll have to do first is turn on the drone. Next, go to your settings menu, go to Wi-Fi connections, and you need to find the HC UFO, and I've got mine connected, it automatically connected. Once you know that the HC UFO connection has been made, you can close your Wi-Fi. Now you can go to the SIMREX app, and you'll connect by attaching there. And you can see you do have video is automatic. It's not recording. It just verifies you that you got the connection. I've also been turning on my controller. and that gives me the connection before I even start, so that I could start from here. But then you can use your smartphone to actually fly. So let me go through what all these symbols stand for. So once your Wi-Fi is connected, now you can activate your drone, and I can tell that actually the camera is on. So I could push record, and you can see, I don't know if you can actually see on screen, but there's a little red flashing dot here. That lets you know that you are recording. So I don't need to record now, so I'm going to go ahead and shut that off. The video has been saved. It is saved in this file here. So if you tap, and this is for photos, this is for videos. So these are the videos I've taken recently. You can edit those, or I'm just going to go back to the screen. Again, you go back because I want to show the functions of the drone itself. I've turned on the camera in the drone, and it's about 18 inches away from where my phone is, so that's the picture you're seeing on my phone. I've already paired the drone to my iPhone, and it's in the instruction book. It says altitude hold. Kind of looks like a timer, a sand timer, or an hourglass shape. If you activate that, that puts you in the flying mode, but you have to turn this button on. So I will fly it momentarily. There's another interesting button, the little gyroscope here. Then you fly similar, if you remember what I said on the earlier video, you can balance it with your iPhone. And I'll actually try that now. I don't know if you're going to be able to see the drone. So you still have to start your flight. Oops, safe landing. Something wasn't right. To fly in this hourglass mode, this arrow will launch the drone. It'll go up about a foot or two. This is for safe landing, and the stop is for emergency stop. You can then control with these, with your finger pressure. Forward, reverse, right, left. This is to pivot. These are your fine-tune markings, which I haven't messed with. It's very difficult for me to do on the iPhone, so I probably won't use it. But I'll give you an example here, and we'll see if you can see halfway okay. There it goes. Left, right. You need to go forward. Try and go down, maybe. No, that's pivoting. I better hit safe land. So it's taking me some practice, but I'll go through the different screens and try and help you out too. When flying on a smartphone, you don't really need the remote. I've got it shut off. The microphone is for voice control, and it gives you an idea of some of the commands that you can use. I've not tried that yet, and that goes off the screen, but I did notice there was one that said take off. Oop, mine just took off. There, I safe landed. So it does work. If you have the mic activated and you say take off, it will do the same as this button. I just had it activate behind me. Then the more button gives you more control. I'm thinking I'll be better off using the headless mode, which is I believe this, because then the unit tracks better. I'll try and go through each one of these shortly. So let me activate the headless mode. Let me make sure that I think it is the one with the propellers. So we're going to activate that. And now I will try and fly in that mode and see what happens. Okay, I've activated the headless mode, which looks like the drone and all the propellers. So I'm going to activate with this arrow. This will control forward, back towards me, right, left. This does elevation. It also does rotation. So let me give it a try. Okay, I don't want it that high. There's forward, towards me. Again, this is headless mode. Left. Oops, I need to go forward. Probably need to do some fine tuning. But with practice, I think you can use the thumb control. Now, I am noticing it does better if I point the phone towards it. And again, the safe landing button right here, and you'll see it landed safely. There's a couple other functions that I've learned, and I've had a challenge. Someone wants to know if it will lift and carry a soda can, so I'll show you that in just a minute. It also, probably one of the most important functions to learn is the automatic return, and that is this button on the left side that shows an A in a circle and a down arrow, and then like a star. And what you do to have the automatic return is you push that and hold it, and that'll bring the drone back to you, especially if it gets away from you during the day. And the other important function that I've figured out is the speed, and that's on this left side. And each time you push it, it gives different beep tones. And the fastest speed isn't necessarily speed of the propellers. What I've determined is it changes the angle, so the speed in movement is stronger, and that is very important for outdoor flight. If you have it on the slowest speed, it gives the least tilt. It's easier to control. But if you're out in the wind and you have that on, the wind will carry the drone away. So you need to be on the second or the highest speed. And again, that changes your tilt for directions. So that should help. And with that, let me move to the can test. And then I've also got just a short piece of video that I've taken with the camera outdoors. I'm still trying to master outdoor flight. And using it with the smartphone device, it has a lot more controls, but I'm struggling with that because I can't fly it from the screen. I'm not that good, and the drone is so easy to lose if you don't keep visual on it. Now, one good thing to know is once it gets about the length of a football field, and that's from the 1 yard line to the opposite 1 yard line, once it loses signal with the controller, after about 30 seconds, it will do an automatic safe landing. So it will not keep flying and go out to never land. So those are a couple good things to know. Let me show you how the can challenge went out. I was issued a challenge. Someone asked me if it had enough power to lift a Coke can. I don't have a Coke can, but I do have a Werner's ginger ale can, so we'll see if that can do it. The answer is yes. I'm going to try. This is test number 2. Can the SIMREX 300 drone fly a Coke can, or in this case, the Werner's can? Yes, it can. Landing is part of the issue though.